round of applause for our host, Mike Yang. First of all, I'm super honored to be here today and to share a little bit of time with you. Thank you for inviting me. I wanted to make sure that I got across two very simple messages to you today. One is that the data center that we know of today is going to be completely different. It's going to be transformed over the next 5 years. And it's led by solutions and the importance of solutions. The second message is why it's important in this transformation to have a partner that's nimble, not just for a company like Intel to be able to rely on QCT, but for all of you to be able to understand the importance of QCT as a rapid innovator in the industry and how important it is to really see all the innovation that's taking place here today. So I want to start with what's driving this transformation. And the reality is we've moved from a world of PCs to a world of mobility, and now we're moving to the world of embedded computing. Everything from our cars to sensors in a factory to the wearables that we have are being connected and they're giving off data. And we're now seeing this give rise to the world of artificial intelligence, as Mike articulated a little bit earlier. This world is going to require complete transformation of the data center. We used to deploy data centers where there were systems that were allocated to specific applications. We deployed an Exchange server. We deployed a VMware ESX instance. Now we're really talking about how in a data center it's going to be shifting to this world where everything is about generating data. These 50 billion connected devices around the world generating data, ingesting that data, storing it, and then figuring out how all the different services can create intelligence. That's completely different. And that means that we can't continue to think about the way that the data center has been architected today, whether you're a telco, whether you're an enterprise, whether you're a cloud service provider. There's got to be a more efficient way to deliver that infrastructure, and the solutions focus is where that's going to take place. We really see at Intel 3 major trends that are driving this solutions focus. One is the move to cloud computing, and the notion there that it's not about the individual box anymore. We created the box to stick them under desks. That paradigm doesn't exist anymore. It's now about aggregation of computing, pools of resources. The second is the network. We know that those of you who are here that represent telcos, like our colleagues from NTT Data, this is not going to be a sustainable model to be able to drive proprietary boxes, very fixed systems. Networks need to be agile. Many more services are going to be moving to the edge. And again, solutions need to be developed to enable that to happen. And then third is the rise of AI and analytics. What are the solutions and the platforms required to perform not just deep learning, but transformation of data, complete pipelines? A little fact for you, there's a lot of talk about autonomous driving cars out there in the industry, and for every R&D vehicle today, there's about $1 million worth of data center equipment being deployed to perform the analysis off of each of those vehicles. So there's a huge focus on how AI solutions can be delivered more effectively. If we look and fast forward to 2025, about 80% of the workloads will be deployed in a cloud environment. The network still has a long way to go, probably about 20% virtualized, but that's pretty substantially different from where we are today. And about half of the workloads that are running in data centers around the world will be related to analytics and AI. So this is a huge shift in transformation. That transformation requires agility. At the end of the day, it's about the efficiency of the infrastructure and the agility to bring together new services. And that's really why solutions are so important. This forum, the reason it's Q.Synergy, is it's about talking about how these solutions can be brought to market. When you go out to the show floor, it's not just about the box and how efficient the layout of the 2-socket server is. It's about how to go deploy a hybrid cloud infrastructure. And the reason is that we need to talk about how those solutions are developed, how they can be easier to be deployed, and then how you can make sure that the underlying infrastructure below them is the most efficient it can be. Mike talked about software-defined being one of the key trends, and we couldn't agree more. the rationale and the driver for software-defined data centers is that there are so many diverse workloads, and we're moving to a service-oriented architecture, that it's no longer practical to think about how to deploy one workload to a given system. You need flexible infrastructure, pools of resources to be able to make that happen. And then that allows you to have more agile infrastructure that also delivers much more efficiency. And to deliver these services, we've got to go manage the cost and also the power efficiency. When we look at software-defined networks, or NFV, it's really about breaking down the proprietary walls and silos that exist in the network. That will take out costs, but it will also allow for more service agility. Hyperscale solutions, as I mentioned, 80% of the workloads will be deployed in hyperscale infrastructure. And that means that systems need to be deployed at a scalable level. They need to be efficiently managed. They need to be able to be nimble to make that happen. If you can't scale, then chances are you're not going to be in the data center business at some point in the future. And as Mike highlighted, AI and analytics, where the meat of the compute is being done, we at Intel are committed to leading here. We're not just thinking about the compute capability required, but next generation memory, high-speed interconnects. Again, it is a complete solution, a complete data center that's going to be required to deliver innovation in artificial intelligence. Thinking about the whole software stack and making sure that it's optimized. Now, we want to bring these solutions to market, and I can tell you it is so important to have a great partner like QCT in making this happen. When you look at not just some of the innovations in the platform like Quanta Grid, when you think about that, they brought the next generation platform out and increased the level of performance substantially. They almost increased the memory bandwidth in the platform by 50% by being time to market with our next generation Xeon Scalable platform. But they've also highlighted and been with us since the start, since we started talking about rackscale design. Our first partner, and Mike probably remembers this, and James probably remembers this as well, the first partner that we had on stage to kind of demonstrate the concept was QCT, because they can move so fast. And the reason I emphasize time to market, speed, agility, is that's what you need in a partner. If I were to ask you how many of you would like to buy last year's car model, but still pay the same amount of money as buying the New Year's car model, you'd say, forget about it, that's ridiculous. I would never want to go do that. But that's yet what a lot of people do when it comes to data center infrastructure. Still working on the previous year's model, older technology. And it's partially because they don't have partners that have the ability to bring solutions, time to market, and innovate quickly. And having a partner like that on your side is incredibly valuable, not just to a company like Intel, but to someone who's trying to maintain competitive in their data center infrastructure. So we're looking to take solution deployment to the next level, and that's why we're proud to unveil today the Intel Select Solutions program. And I wanted to highlight the reason and the motivation for us driving to Intel Select Solutions. And what these are is these are completely validated reference solutions that perform three key aspects. One, many of you are looking at data center solutions and wondering, what are all these choices? If I have to deploy a database, what database should I be choosing? What OS infrastructure? What management solution? What platform? What ingredients? What's really going to get me the optimal value? How can we, as Intel, help eliminate a lot of that guesswork? The second is, once you've made your choices, there's the whole validation timeline. And one of the things that we would like to be able to do is accelerate your ease of deployment and making that happen. So accelerating the qualification of these solutions. And again, that means that you have more agility in your data center infrastructure. And then last, which is certainly not least, is making sure that you get the most efficiency for every dollar that you put in to that solution. How do you make sure that you know that configuration has optimal performance, optimal power efficiency, optimal cost for what workload you're looking to do? So these are the three principles behind the Intel Select Solutions, and you'll see a couple of these solutions out there on the show floor today. And we've been very, very pleased to partner with Quanta, and again, bringing these solutions to market and giving you something that can be turnkey. So just to highlight a few examples, One of the solutions that currently available today with our partners at QCT is the solution for Microsoft SQL Server 2016. Now obviously that's one of the cores to databases around the world, and making sure that it provides a high performance engine and getting the most performance out of a big investment that's mission critical to your solution is important. We made sure that this solution is highly optimized. And not only is it taking advantage of the latest generation Intel Xeon Scalable processors, not only is it optimized for the entire configuration from the processor all the way through to the network, and we've tuned the overall configuration, but it takes advantage of many of the security features that we've put native into this Xeon Scalable platform. And this means that the QCT Intel Select solution that's ready to scale with Microsoft's SQL Server is going to provide high performance and a very secure solution. Another one that is ready to go today, and you can start looking at deploying, is the vSAN solution, which again, portions of which you might be able to see out there on the show floor today. We've worked with VMware to make sure that we have an optimal configuration to take advantage of the platform from VMware. And this is taking advantage not just of our high performance processors, it's been tuned for multi-threading. It's also been tuned for our speed scale technology, meaning that it's constantly optimizing for both performance and power efficiency. We looked at the configuration that you can see through this Intel Select solution based on the previous version, and there's 2.3 times more virtual machines, more performance that you're able to get out of this infrastructure. Again, that economics is exactly where you want to be versus a previous generation. And then last, we're working right now, and this will be released this month with QCT on an NFV solution for Intel Select solutions, making sure that the NFVI infrastructure is fully optimized, configured, and ready to go. NFV can be extremely tricky to be able to deploy, and especially in a efficient mode, especially when you're thinking about service chaining, and this is an infrastructure that's been optimized. It takes advantage of some of the accelerations and the libraries that we've developed, such as our data plane developers kit, to get the most performance out of this infrastructure. So I hope that you'll take advantage of some of the work that we're doing, because it's designed to help you to deliver and deploy optimal solutions faster and more efficiently. So my call to action to you is go learn more, go see what's out there today. You know, we've worked with Mike and the QCT team to make sure that you see compelling solutions out there, that you can see, feel, and touch the innovation that goes into rack scale design with a product implementation in RackGo, that you can see out there. If you visit, for example, the Intel booth, we'll show you some of the benefits that you can get through NFV. You can look at how the performance, taking advantage of underlying platform capabilities, can be optimized for your particular workloads and make it dynamic. And you'll see some great solutions. I'm excited to see the hybrid cloud solutions of VCF from VMware out there, seeing the Azure Stack solution, again on QCT hardware out there, demonstrating Microsoft's solution. So please go out there and really learn about not just why these solutions are so important to transforming your infrastructure, but why QCT is a tremendous partner in helping you get there. Thank you very much.